Set general quarters. Set general quarters.
General quarters, all hands, leave out station. General quarters, all hands, leave out station.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, tonight, Clint and BZ are going to tear through the gristle of today's screaming headlines and rip out the sinewy tendons of truth ensconced within, all from the hoary streets of Sacramento, Fornicalia, exposing the trembling toadies, the sniveling jackanapes, and the fripperous fopdoodles that are infesting leftist and progressive brain-housing groups nationally. Tonight, of course, featuring, let's see, over here, is the effervescent contrarian, Heads CLINT, plus the unrestrained bulbosity of the Zeppmeister right here, one each, where we double your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts. And I should tell you that some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, and the warranty is, of course, void in Montenegro.
And we run on coal.
Yes, we do. Coal and pizza and big lumps of thick, juicy steak.
Yes.
Just thought I should tell everybody that. So today is Wednesday because it's Sackheads Day, and everybody knows that. So it's Wednesday, February the 13th.
The
year
day
of
before.
our Lord 2019, and
Day before Valentine's Day.
Yes, and gentlemen, if you have not yet gotten your act together, far be it from me to tell you that if you go out and you're going to try to buy any flowers for your lady, you probably are not, if you haven't gotten them already, you're probably not going to find much tomorrow.
No, you're going to have to go into somebody else's, like maybe a public park or the people's, something where you're not going to get in trouble for maybe cutting your own. But in terms of purchasing some,
yeah, you'd have to go down to the corner to Jose's single flower stall and buy the cheap, grizzly, kind of wilted. He's painting the petals even as you walk up to him.
I'm glad you caught yourself because you said you'd have to go down to the corner and get some hose. And then you kind of stuttered
HOSE
for a moment, which
the kind of hose that you'd want to put on the chicken. Do you know how hard it is to get hose on a chicken?
Yes. You know what smell?
Extremely difficult.
Have you ever smelled mothballs? Have you ever smelled mothballs?
Why would I want to? They're so small.
Right. You have to get their little legs apart.
I know.
Did you? So I want to know this. Okay. Why would anybody want to celebrate a day named after a massacre?
Oh, right. Good. Okay, who were the two gangs that were involved in that?
The fucktards and the jackasses.
Okay, good enough for me. We don't have anybody listening from Chicago, do we?
And if you're a millennial and you say the Crips and Bloods...
You know, I can't even tell you, are the Crips and Bloods around anymore?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they are.
Are they?
Yeah, they are.
I don't even know if, like, the Mexican Mafia and the Nuestra Familia are around anymore. I mean, I know the Norteños are around and the Sureños are around. I know that for a fact. Hey, welcome to Mike in chat. Welcome to the Alaskan in chat. Welcome to the Nose in chat. And what we know about that is the nose knows.
Yes. Yes, the nose knows. Are you squared away for Valentine's Day?
Boy, am I ever.
Really?
Yes.
What did Mrs. Zeppelin get you?
Mrs. Zeppelin, we both agreed that we're not going to actually get anything for Valentine's Day.
BZ, don't fall into that trap.
Oh, no.
BZ, do not fall into that trap.
Oh, listen, wait. I'm golden. And here's why.
Okay.
Monday at work, I had delivered from one of our great florists around here. I'll give the name up anyway. It's Relish Florist.
Oh, yeah.
And they deliver. Mm-hmm. And so I got a dozen beautiful vased red roses.
Like individual vases as well?
Right, exactly.
Perfect. Yeah. Very nice.
Delivered one at a time to her door at work. And the reason I do that There's a very persnickety but evil reason for doing that. Is I want all the other women at work to look at her display of red roses sitting on her desk, because she's in an area where just outside her door is one of the main corridors, and people walk by her open door all the time. And I know for a fact that a lot of the chicks that are there at work are going to look in that door, see that big vase full of 12 beautiful long-stemmed roses and some baby's breath arranged beautifully, and they're all going to think, that son of a bitch better have gotten something for me like that. And or, how come my, fill in the blank doesn't send me beautiful flowers like that at work? That's part of my goal as well.
That's very nice. But, I'm sure I'm going to say something. I'm going to get so much hate mail on this. How many of those broads deserve it, though? Right, like Mrs. BZ is probably very sweet, very nice, takes good care of you. But if those broads are jealous and they treat their man like an a-hole, they don't deserve to get a dozen roses delivered to them, right? Screw them. Like, they're lucky if they come home and I throw some Spam on the griddle, right? Like, don't be an asshole. If you're very nice and sweet and take care of your man, maybe you'll get some stuff delivered at work. Otherwise, go screw yourself, right? I mean, that's just my take on it. I don't know. How much hate mail am I going to get for that one?
Okay, my guess would be you're going to get an absolute assload of hate mail behind that.
Yeah, a lot. But you know what? It's true. And likewise, if your man's an asshole, don't get him anything for Valentine's Day. Right? Why are you with him anyways? But that's my take on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Why would you want to be with a guy who's not going to treat you right?
Right. And look, if you're married and you're working it out, that's great.
In the first place.
Then working it out, but you don't get anything just because you're working it out. You get something because you're nice and you're celebrating your love. Otherwise, go fucking make dinner. I mean, that's that's my take on it.
Okay, well, I was going to go into something right now. Okay. We sat down.
Oh, shit. Hang on. There's a very important question that just popped up in chat. And the question is, would box wine be happy with 12 boxes of wine? And let me say this.
Okay, that's a good question.
Let me say that is an excellent question, And Mrs. Box Wine takes excellent care of me. But this is the one time of year that box wine actually gets a bottle. So what I do,
this is in fact a special occasion.
So it's a very special occasion. So I actually go to and I take my time, but I walk into my local Costco, and
the finest wine establishments around.
And I select a very, very nice bottle of their generic brand wine.
Of their best 2017.
Of their best.
Oh, no, wait.
No, 2018.
2018.
Yeah, of their very best 2018. It usually runs me about $1.27.
I was going to guess maybe about $2.20.
Yeah, close, but I get it on sale because I take a coupon in.
Okay.
It's Valentine's Day,
right.
And Mrs. Boxwine really likes me to kind of pay attention. But because it comes in a bottle. It's very nice, very special. She drinks it down. She usually just pops the cork, and I kind of have to show her how to do that because she doesn't really know. She tries to like open it like a pour spout, so it doesn't really work out very well. But I open it up and I kind of show her how to do the cork, and then she drinks it straight from the bottle. But what's kind of one of her things is every Valentine's Day when she does that, she actually gets a paper bag first. I have
that's a lot of that is sort of tradition
a little
and history,
bit, a little bit. Yeah, it is. But what I do is I actually take the top brown bag and I draw like a nice note on it or something. So I draw like a beautiful picture, right? Okay. So I take my time. It's very personal, right? And I write something to the effect of "That's right, bitches. This ain't box wine," or something classy like that for her.
Something amorous and romantic.
Yep,
just like that.
Yeah, very sweet, very sweet.
Yep.
And if she wants a candle, sometimes I'll like light the corner on fire of the bag or something like that. Right. And then she'll like twist it at the top, and then she'll drink it straight from the bottle. And then what she does, because she is frugal, she will take the wrapper, the label off of the bottle. and then I'll go out front, very nice, and I'll cut a rose like from the neighbor's yard,
Right.
Or so, and I'll bring it in, and I'll put the rose in the vase, and then she can take that to work, and so it's really kind of a great, like, it's a great thought, right? I'm getting her some nice wine.
You
it's in
told
a
me the
bottle.
neighbors have the best roses.
They do.
Anyway.
They do, and they are amazing. I've told you, hey, come cut some. Like, they're gorgeous. Like, I move the camera so they don't like get me on film cutting their flowers or anything. But it's kind of a nice gesture, and so yeah, that's what box wine gets, and she loves it. She knows it happens every year. So
Okay, I did that on purpose back in 2007 when I got married for numero dos.
you're a rookie.
I know. Okay, that is a little inside the shot show. However, that being said, we got married on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
And one of the reasons that I did that is so that I never forget my anniversary, because
That is genius.
who's going to forget Valentine's Day?
That is genius,
Right.
BZ.
So, in honor of Mrs. BZ, I want to play this. This is...
Oh, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. Pour a cheerful toast and fill it, happy anniversary. But be careful you don't spill it, happy anniversary. Oh, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
Is she listening?
She may, but if she is, that's for her. So I played that just for her tonight. Happy anniversary. Tomorrow night, this is kind of either kind of really interesting or kind of creepy. We're staying our first night, tomorrow night, in a haunted hotel
No, that's fucked up.
in the Motherlode.
No, that's weird.
And then
Where are you staying in Coloma?
No, it's further up, further east. Actually, what would that be? Like a little bit slightly southeast of here, about 40, 50 miles away.
Yeah, nope.
Two-story, old, very, very old hotel that has a history, a noted history of being haunted. I think they have like maybe 12 rooms. Each one of them is different.
Nope.
Some have suites, some have water closets that are down the hall. We have an in-suite bathroom with a little porch that looks out onto the veranda down below and the courtyard, etc. And this is so cool. Each room in this 1800s building, it's on the historical register in the state of California. Each room in this hotel is supposed to be haunted.
So, nope.
That is way cool.
Now, first of all, so I have two questions. One, are you going to be the only guests there?
No.
Okay.
No.
Number two, is it staffed 24 hours a day?
That's a good question. I know that they've got downstairs and kind of away from us a little bit, there's a bar, a saloon, and they occasionally have bands that are playing, but the bar is open until 2 a.m.
Right.
So,
but is there hotel staff? So 4 a.m. you need a towel or an enema. I don't know, whatever it is.
Or
right?
an exorcism.
Or an exorcism. Is there staff there to...
I think they go, it's up to when the bar closes.
Okay.
So what they say is if you arrive after the front desk closes, which is, 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, something like that, then go to the bar to get your motel key, et cetera, et cetera. So the front desk will likely be closed late at night, but the bar and the bartender, tendress / is open until 2 a.m. Anything after that, after 2 a.m., you are on your damn own.
Yeah, no freaking way would I stay. So I don't like that shit. I am not... Look, if I can't fucking shoot it, I want nothing to do with it. So, like, bad guys all day long, right? If somebody comes in and they want to try and break in, those thriller movies where there's bad guys, yeah, I'm totally good with it. Okay? Wrong house. Now, a ghost, demonic entity, shit like that, nope.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
This is it's an interesting question. Do you enjoy ghost movies?
Nope.
Suspense thriller movies.
Suspense thriller if there's a bad guy.
Okay. Maybe I should requalify that. Suspense movies in terms of, say, the supernatural.
No.
or bad guys
Nope.
that are somehow paranormal, ghosts, that kind of stuff.
If a bad guy is paranormal but can be shot, I'm okay with that, right? If a bad guy is paranormal and can't be shot, no,
not interested.
no, not interested. And I'll tell you why. So Boxwine loves scary movies, like she does, and I will.
Do you like them though?
I do not, but I will watch them with her.
Okay.
Because
Now you mean, all right, when you say you're going to watch them with her, does that mean you'll only watch them at home
no, I'd go
with her, or are you willing to actually go out to a theater?
If there was one she really wanted to see, I'd go see it.
To
right?
see scary movies.
Yeah,
Maybe
I would.
Maybe I should quantify it as that. Do you go to scary movies, or what most people would consider to be a scary movie?
On the supernatural, no, I don't enjoy it. I have watched some with her, but for the most part, I don't. It's not something I enjoy, and I'll tell you why. So again, I will go with her if it's a movie she really wants to see. If it's like Halloween or something like that's a little bit different, right? But like true like Paranormal Activity or like true fucked up supernatural movies, I'm not into. And I'll tell you, because I believe in good and evil. Okay,
all right.
I believe
Makes
in good.
sense.
I believe in good and evil. I believe there is evil in this world, and I believe in Revelation when they talk about the war in heaven and the fall of Satan and all this other stuff, and I don't screw with it. I don't do Ouija boards. I don't go to seances. I don't talk to the dead. I don't screw with any of that because again, I have seen good in the world. I have seen evil in the world, and I believe that evil doesn't always come from the human race as just being evil, and that's just not something that I mess with.
Okay, all right. I can go with that. Let me ask you this question then. Have you yourself personally experienced anything that you might consider to be
Yes.
Sort of
Yes.
paranormal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. A couple times in my life.
Okay. Are you willing to talk about it for a little bit?
Let's
Just
see.
give
Can
a
I-
brief like a brief example of what happened. I
will share only one story on air.
Okay.
I'll share another one with you
Later.
after on the break. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I will share one on the air, and this was so I had one of my sons. I was with me, and I was in at a state park up in I think it was Nevada City, where it's the mine.
Right.
Right, one of the mines up there, great state park where you can go check out the mining operation and some of the old shops and stuff. And I had them.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I think I know. Yes, it is a mine. You drive in. When you drive in, there's a big derrick and a big boom in front of you. Mm-hmm. And okay, that's not Nevada City. That's
it's off of 49, right?
Yeah, that's
It's off Highway
Grass
49.
Valley.
Grass Valley.
It's
Okay.
right off Grass
So
Valley.
you know where I'm talking
the
about.
exact one that you're talking about.
So I go in. I have him. I'm carrying him around, and we're looking at some of the old stuff, and go by kind of this old. There's an area where we kind of go down an old mine shaft, and then a little bit farther on, there's an area where there's like an old, not a warehouse, but like an old shop, right, where they'd had metalworks and that kind of stuff. And it kind of went back, and going back towards this one particular shop, kind of in the back portion of the main area that you can walk through, and it's full of history, and I like that kind of stuff. But it just kind of got like a kind of just a weird feeling. Like the hair on the back of my neck kind of stood up just a little bit.
Okay.
It was a little odd.
Okay.
And it, it felt a little colder.
All right.
But I was there kind of looking at the shop, and I just felt uneasy.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yes. Well, there's more to the story.
Well, I know that,
Yeah.
but I want to ask you this: when you were there, was it? Was the ambient temperature cold?
No,
or
it was
hot?
warmer. It was warmer.
It was like in the summer, maybe.
It was late spring.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to delineate that because you apparently found a cold spot.
Yeah, I felt it. I felt there was a distinct temperature change.
Okay.
As I kind of just walked up, and I just felt uneasy. I didn't see anything, but I felt uneasy. But I was holding my boy, And I turned around just to kind of start walking back the other way. And it's kind of surveying the parks. It's pretty, like it's a pretty cool place.
Oh, it's very nice.
And I'm surveying, and all of a sudden, he was probably, I don't know, like 10 or 11 months old, maybe a little younger than that. But he laughs. Like he's laughing, and I kind of look at him, and I have him kind of carrying. And I look at him, and his eyes are locked inside of the warehouse. Like he won't, and I'm saying his name, hey buddy, hey, and he won't look at me. He's looking, and all of a sudden, I kind of move and I turn, and his head is focused, kind of like if you have like a small dog or something, and they're watching, and you go to move the dog, but their head moves to keep track of whatever it is they're looking at. He was doing that, and I'm looking, and I don't see anything in there, and he like giggles again, and I try turning, and as I try to turn around and face what I'm doing, he completely turns in my arms to
continue looking at
whatever it is he's doing. And then I see his head kind of move to the left as if he's tracking movement of some kind, and I don't see anything. And I start to kind of back away because this is a little fucking weird for me. And of course there's nothing there for me to, but as I'm walking away, and he now turns back around and is looking back over my shoulder, he puts his little hand up and he is waving bye-bye.
Whoa. Okay.
So that is one.
Did he say anything? Could he speak at this time?
He didn't say anything, and that's why I'm wondering if I'm a little old on the 8 to 10 month old range that I said initially. He might have been a little younger than that, but no, he was not talking. He wasn't talking at that point, but I distinctly remember he was kind of waving bye-bye as I was walking away, and of course I stepped up my game and walked a little faster. So that's one story I will share.
Okay, that is a little bizarre.
But nothing I could point to that, I don't have any nothing crazy. I mean, if he's laughing and smiling and waving bye-bye, I'm guessing there was nothing evil there, but just stuff that I don't know what he was looking at, don't know what he saw, no idea.
All right. Clint and I had dinner before we got here, and we were talking about how there's so much stuff to address in tonight's show, and we spent dinner at Bento Box, this Japanese place down the street. And
thank you, by the way.
Oh, you're very welcome. And arranged all the things that we got, and then I went into the computer here and arranged them all. It's like there's so much stuff to talk about, and I did not see us going into the paranormal.
Well, we even talked about that at dinner. We're like, hey, there's so much stuff here. We can pick a topic, and it's
where do we
brought up as
start?
where do we even start? And now we know where we started.
Yeah. Okay. I did not see that coming. Not from dinner. Not here, at all. So, like I say, I've got a couple of news stories up here. And we can kind of brush by these very quickly because I think there are some other things we really want to get our teeth into. One of the things that I think deserves mentioning to everybody is that the Senate Intelligence Committee, and this is both sides of the aisle, not just the Dems and not just the GOP, but both sides of the aisle on the Senate Intelligence Committee, they have not found evidence of any kind of Trump-Russia collusion. They issued a report, and the report said exactly that. And it goes, in the 2 years since the launch of the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee investigation of Russian election meddling, Democrats and Republicans have not found evidence that Donald Trump's presidential campaign colluded with Russia to win the White House, according to multiple reports. And you and I both know, because everything leaks, especially these days. Mm-hmm. That's why I fervently believe, and the Democrats that are hanging their hats on all of this stuff, I think, are insane. Mm-hmm. It's like the old Hells Angels axiom. 2 Hells Angels can keep a secret if one is dead. That's like the LAPD axiom. And say O.J. Simpson. 2 LAPD officers can keep a secret if one is dead. Which is why all the thing about, the LAPD kept the secrets, I don't buy that at all. Not at all. So Mueller, if there was anything there and it was credible, I completely believe that it would have leaked by now. Any thoughts about that in the Senate report?
No, I agree with your assessment. I don't think there's anything there. I did see that Paul Manafort's plea deal got overturned today because the judge indicated that she believed that he intentionally lied to the Mueller team. So I thought that was an interesting development.
But again, those are crimes of process.
They are.
That came about post-investigation.
They are, but he's still
because of the investigation.
Yes. But I was still absolutely.
But it is.
But it has nothing. It didn't have anything to do with Trump. But on that front. But I was. It's interesting to me.
But he was stupid enough to do it.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Dude, you're on your own.
You're on your own. Or tell him to go fuck off. Right. I don't want to talk to you. But what's interesting to me is that the House Judiciary Committee just hired. Two individuals.
Oh, okay. You're going to go there. All right,
yeah,
gotcha.
I am because we have a couple minutes, and it kind of plays into this whole probe thing a little bit.
Gotcha.
So Jerry Nadler, he's a Nad Muncher. I don't know. He's a Democrat out of New York, and he's the House Judiciary Committee chairman. Well, this individual decided to hire two independent individuals, independent. Investigators to investigate Trump again, right? It's to conduct it. It's supposed to be an impartial investigation.
Air quotes.
Impartial investigation. The two individuals that were hired are Barry Burke and Norman Eisen. Assman. I don't know how to pronounce the last name.
Okay, and you asked me at dinner if those names rang a bell with me, and they do not. So you must know something about that. Who are they?
So these individuals publicly wrote, they are publicly anti-Trump, and they wrote things in public publications and have made public comments that clearly demonstrates their bias against President Trump. And so there's a report published by the Brookings Institution. Mr. Burke and Mr. Eisen, Assman, whatever his name is, wrote basically saying that the evidence that was available to the public, at least so far, quote, strongly supports that the president obstructed justice under ordinary application of the relevant criminal law. Now, why is that important? Well, that's important because they clearly have made a determination of something that
before they even step into the investigation.
And that's something that was written before. So there was a Washington Post op-ed as well where these two individuals, along with another person, Noah Bookbinder, who co-authored the thing with them, wrote, quote, the president is arguing that not only is he above the law, but also above the facts. That audacious move is unbecoming for our nation's chief law enforcement officer, and neither Mueller nor Congress should let him get away with it.
But now these are supposed to be fact finders, right?
Yes, they are.
They're supposed to be impartial.
Yes, they are.
Right?
So they continue. They wrote more, and this was Fox News did a great write-up on it and did the research on these individuals, and really has a concise article written about it if you want to check it out. But in the New York Times, they wrote, from the publicly available information, it's now clear that Trump obstructed justice. And that's a quote that you and I were discussing earlier over dinner. So is this really? And there is Representative Collins kind of wrote a letter to this Nad Muncher guy or whatever his name is, saying, how is it you unilaterally made a decision to hire these guys, and how can they possibly conduct an independent investigation
when they already have bias?
Oh
like
my gosh!
That.
If you had the Republicans that hired somebody to do an impartial investigation, and they had public comments like this, could you imagine the outcry? First of all, I would be outraged as a conservative if the Republicans were trying to railroad a Democratic duly elected president. Although I may disagree on policies, I don't advocate conducting an investigation that is clearly tainted or slanted from the start, unless you come right out and say our operatives are going to try and find dirt on you. That's a different story. That's honest.
Okay.
But don't call it we're having an impartial investigation, because we're really interested in getting the facts, and we will either prove or we will disprove our suspicions.
Yeah, there's no disprove in there. Folks, we got to take a break. When we come back, I want to throw another name in there with regard to a hearing that occurred, and then I want to relate it to what Heads Clint just said about an investigation, et cetera, et cetera. You're listening to the Shat Show, the Sackheads Against Tyranny, right here with Heads Clint, who is over that way, and Heads BZ, and we will be right back after this brief space that I hope you'll hang around for. Don't go anywhere. Come right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever,
because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny, and we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
S-H-A-T.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
Yep. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know, I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, Sackheads against tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
First half hour already gone. It's just a little jaunty tune. You know how hard it was to record this, to get the orchestra to time it just right?
You know, they did a great job. They did a great, and I never knew I never knew you were a director.
I know, but it was tough to get all these 5 people in on the horns to record it. I had scheduling that session was really, really tough.
Now you're a maestro. Most people don't know this about you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, most people don't know this about you.
Thank you very much. You are listening to the Shat Show, the Sackheads Against Tyranny. I'm Sackheads BZ, and over in, let's see, that direction right over there is Sackheads Clint, sitting at the table opposite me. And we are against tyranny, for liberty, and for freedom. Sackheads Clint was talking just before the break about, tell everybody basically what you were saying.
About the hiring of 2 clearly anti-Trump lawyers to do an impartial investigation.
Right. So the relationship that I wanted to draw then was Matt Whitaker, the acting Attorney General, because Barr is going to get. I'm sure he's going to get confirmed, or he has already been confirmed. One of the two. I don't have my finger on the pulse of Barr just yet. Oh, no, wait. He has 6 more days. Matt Whitaker, the acting AG, was absolutely excoriated and raked across the coals in a completely stupid, ridiculous hearing by the Democrats, and then essentially he gave as good as he received. He went so far as to tell one of the dudes, "Hey, I'm sorry, your 5 minutes are up." I love that. But that's absolutely pointless. But their point that they were trying to make is that, well, he's biased. Well, you've already got people that are clearly biased, as you pointed out. Now, will there be an investigation or a hearing like Whitaker was given to prove their bias? And the answer is no. Because this is perfectly acceptable in today's D.C. As a matter of fact, as far as the Democrats are concerned, it's absolutely expected. Here's another story, and we were talking about this at dinner time last night on in the saloon. I was talking about tensions having risen markedly between Iran and Israel. And I found another story that just came out today from the Washington Free Beacon, and Clint and I discussed this very briefly. The headline says, Netanyahu, meetings in Warsaw with Arab leaders to combat Iran. Now, the story I read was about 2 weeks old, but the tenor of that article was that war between Israel and Iran is not that far away. With that in my brain, I looked at this article today, and it says, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Wednesday, today, in what could be a possible gaffe, that his meetings with Arab leaders in Poland are in order to advance the common interest of combating Iran. The comments were made to reporters on the sidelines of the Warsaw Middle East ministerial following Netanyahu's meeting with the Sultan of Oman's minister responsible for foreign affairs. Here I'm going to a meeting with 60 foreign ministers and envoys of countries from around the world against Iran, Netanyahu said. What is important about this meeting, and this meeting is not in secret because there are many of those, is that this is an open meeting with representatives of leading Arab countries that are sitting down together with Israel in order to advance the common interest of combating Iran. And all I'm submitting is some big shit is up. Don't know what it is, and I have seen this largely ignored by what I term the American media maggots that have decided that they're primarily not covering anything that is not Trump-related in order to bring him down. But I'm wondering how serious this is really getting. Israel is making noise like it's incredibly serious about doing something with Iran. Now, the big question, of course, is anytime you involve Iran, are we actually ready and willing to commit to what clearly could be a proxy war? Because you go into Iran, and who's going to back Iran?
I think that
now we know that Russia backs Syria.
You had a couple. Oh, Russia backs Iran too.
Yes, they do.
You had a couple parts to that question, so let me take them one at a time.
Okay.
One, I do not think the United States populace has the stomach for a war with Iran.
I completely agree with that.
Right now, I think that would be so unpopular, and it would be. I think that would end the Trump presidency. I think now, if Israel goes to war with Iran, I think we would supply economic support to Israel. They are an ally. I think that if Russia got involved on behalf of Iran, I think that you could see the United States back Israel without actually actively getting into the war. And it wouldn't be until or unless Iran attacked a U.S. ship or U.S. territory directly would we actively be involved in the war. That's my thoughts on U.S. involvement in the war right now. Unless something changed, something else came out. I think even if Iran attacked Israel first, I think we should support Israel and take action against Iran. And I think President Trump would do that if Israel were attacked first. But if Israel, I don't even want to say began aggressions, because Israel puts up with a lot of shit.
They do.
But if Israel went to war with Iran and they struck first, I think it would be more difficult for the U.S. to provide direct support to Israel and in that war effort, as opposed to if Israel were attacked first or something else were to happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes me wonder, is Israel attempting to get the fingerprints of a lot of other nations on the knife before it takes the knife and shivs Iran? In other words, they're trying. It seems as though
I think so.
They're trying to acquire some kind of a Middle East consensus.
Yeah, I think so.
For them to take some kind of action.
I think so, which is smart, right? Because
I think it's very smart.
Yeah, it's very smart. Israel has to do that. They're really kind of alone in that part of the world. So Israel needs to
they're
get
a little teeny winky little nation.
Yeah, but they are badass.
Oh, they are.
Israel really needs that support, and they need that support. I think Netanyahu understands the position that President Trump is in. I think he understands that the United States very much supports Israel and is an ally of Israel.
Yep.
But Benjamin Netanyahu also understands what the current will of the American people is, and although we support Israel, the American people typically won't support a first action against, name it, right? So
and coupled with the fact that wouldn't you submit that Americans are, for lack of a better term, kind of warred out?
Yes, absolutely. But here's the interesting thing, and I want to add this little twist, or put this little twist on your radar, and see if this changes your thought process a little bit. We've bounced out of the Iran deal.
Right.
Trump talked about it at the State of the Union not too long ago, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Timing, considering what Benjamin Netanyahu is doing now.
Right, which makes you wonder.
Yes, it does. We know that Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are I don't know how tight they are, but they are certainly on pretty good terms from what I've seen.
Yes.
And so Trump is already kind of putting a narrative forward about how dangerous Iran is and the fact that they've continued their nuclear program. And Iran is dangerous.
Oh,
and
without doubt. And
now you have the Iranian people chanting, death to America or whatever the chants they're saying, anti-American, basically death to Americans or death to the USA or something like that, to where the leader had to come out and say, well, when our people saying that, they're not saying death to the American people. They're saying death to the government officials that are running the government.
Right, just to the leader.
Right. Oh, that's good, because that makes us feel all fucking better, right? Because we put up with that shit. So there are some interesting things happening between the U.S. and Iran, but it's not really on the forefront right now. So I don't see us right now declaring war on Iran or anything like that until or unless something happened. If Iran unleashed a nuke in the Middle East or on Israel, I think we'd be involved in a heartbeat. We'd have to be.
I think something is coming. I don't know exactly what, but I think it's something that at least here on the show, we're definitely going to pay attention to, which, folks, you're getting your money's worth right now because we're alerting you to things that are likely going to occur in the future.
So let's play this out.
That's why you listen to us.
Let's play this out. Let's say that.
Okay, so we're going to war game this right now.
Let's play this out a little bit, right? A little bit. So Iran has a nuclear weapon. They say they're going to wipe Israel out. Israel gets intel that it's coming. Something's coming from Iran. They get other Arab nations on board for a first strike.
And they certainly, Iran has the missile capability.
Yes, they do.
Easily to reach Israel.
Yep. So now Israel goes in, first strike, they take out whatever facility they believe is going to launch against them in a preemptive strike. Iran gets hit, they have to hit back. Okay? So Iran mobilizes, takes action, and they strike Israel. They mobilize troops, and they begin a ground war with Israel. First question: can Israel survive a ground war with Iran? No other allies. Ground war only with Iran. Other Arab nations, maybe the extent is, hey, we'll stay out of it.
I would wager that Iran has vastly greater numbers. Now, in terms of equipment, I'd have to say it's 50-50.
So I think Israel would be in a difficult spot, right? So maybe they'd
be radioing for help.
They would
quickly.
They'd be they would have to. So Israel would have to strike first, strike hard, and end that threat. If they kind of lightly tapped Iran, I think that they would be in a very difficult spot, sans any help from anybody else. But if Israel was able to strike hard, strike fast, and inflict major damage in key areas and at key target locations in Iran, I think that I think that's the way Israel would have to win. Again, absent any other intervention.
And there's history for that. Let's go back to 1981. The Iraqi nuclear reactor at Osirak, that was Operation Opera, if I'm not mistaken. And the Israelis did, in fact, make a preemptive strike against that nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
So there is precedent for something like that occurring if they feel
there is, but
they're that threatened.
Look, if they're that threatened, I think Israel has to. I don't think they can hit just one missile site, or they can hit just one reactor. I think that they would have to go in and take out a major part of the Iranian government. If
command and control.
Yes, I think if Israel wanted to win, they would have to go out and take out the major command and control centers of Iran. Because if those remain intact and Iran's able to mobilize their ground forces, I think Israel would be in trouble. A question in chat: what happens if Iran hits the new embassy in Israel? Look, if a U.S. embassy gets attacked, U.S. soil, that's U.S. soil. I think U.S. soil gets attacked. And
wait a minute, that's from Michael John Pascal. Mike,
yes.
do you mean Jerusalem? Are you talking about our new embassy in Jerusalem?
That's what I think he's talking about.
Because
but let's clarify.
if you throw anything at Jerusalem, you're going to piss off all three major religions.
Oh, yes, you are.
Guaranteed.
You are. And I don't think that's why I don't think Iran will do that.
No, that would be like that would be every religion on the planet except for perhaps Buddhism and Shinto would be against your ass.
Yeah, and I think Iran knows that. That would piss the world off. So I don't see it. But look, let's play it out. If the U.S. embassy in Jerusalem is attacked, I absolutely think that the U.S. would get involved. And not only the U.S., but now you'd have Saudi Arabia. Iran would be in deep kimchi, so to speak. So
you destroyed the Dome of the Rock?
Yeah.
You're going to have some serious crap to put up with.
Mm-hmm. So then does
God.
So is that a potential prelude to a true World War III? It depends. If we got involved, if now potentially Russia gets involved on behalf of
the
big
draw everyone.
It could be, but the big wild card, in my opinion, the big wild card would be China. That's the wild card in that conflict. And in that case, China could sit back and just kind of see which way the wind blows.
Right, and watch all their good friends
attack
themselves and do the work of China itself.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting. In chat, people have been talking about what's going to happen in various areas in SCOTUS.
Kaiser disagrees that the Shia or Sunni would care.
We may or may not get into that. What I'd like to do now...
Did you hear that?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, Kaiser,
I'm looking at...
or guest 1264, disagrees that the Shia or Sunni would care.
About
Jerusalem being hit.
Well, that's both major sects.
I think they would care.
I think they would care.
Yeah, I believe they would. We could be wrong. They may not give a shit.
No,
I think they would.
That would be like hitting Mecca.
That's a good idea.
Well, yeah, that's a story for another day.
Hi, Kaiser.
Let me run. Oh, Kaiser, hey, good to see you. Guest 1264, good to see you. Here's a story that I want to run by you. This just came out yesterday. No, I'm sorry, 2 days ago. And this was really glossed over. But in my opinion, it shows how, people have been saying for a long time how absolutely unbiased and apolitical is the FBI, to which for quite some time I've replied, bullshit. Well, here's another story that came out. I'm going to go over it, and then I'd like your opinion. This is from Fox News. The headline is, FBI scrambled to respond to Hillary Clinton lawyer amid Wiener laptop review, newly released emails show. So that sounds kind of confusing. Let's delve into it just a little bit to kind of sort things out.
You don't think it was titled to be confusing on purpose, do you?
Well, once I go into this a little bit further, it will become more clear. Newly released internal FBI emails showed the agency's highest-ranking officials were scrambling to answer Hillary Clinton's lawyer in the days prior to the 2016 presidential election. On the same day, then FBI Director James Comey sent a bombshell letter to Congress announcing a new review of hundreds of thousands of potentially classified emails that were found on Representative Anthony Weiner's laptop. The trove of documents turned over by the FBI in response to a lawsuit, because now you've got to sue the FBI to get them to answer questions. And it was sued by Judicial Watch. I contribute to Judicial Watch. I think they do great work. Also included discussions by former FBI lawyer Lisa Page, once again, concerning a potential quid pro quo between the State Department and the FBI, in which the FBI would agree to effectively hide the fact that a Clinton email was classified in exchange for more legal attaché positions that would benefit the FBI abroad and allow them to send more agents to countries where the FBI's access is ordinarily restricted. In other words, politically speaking, the DOJ and the FBI are negotiating to screw over the citizens of the United States of America so that the FBI can get the people, legal attachés, they're called legats. And basically, I'm not speaking out of turn, when they are FBI spies in other countries. And the FBI wanted more of them to place into other countries. The quid pro quo, the story goes, would have involved the FBI providing some other public reason. Again, listen to this. The agreement would be if the FBI provided some other public reason for withholding the Clinton email from disclosure amidst a Freedom of Information Act request, besides its classification level. There are no indications the proposed arrangement ever took place, but once again, it's another in a continuing series of developments. It's like the iceberg effect. There's so much under the water. The tip of the iceberg is exposed, but there's so much under the water that we have still yet to find out. Mm-hmm. And it all goes back to the FBI. It was, in my opinion, the FBI was complicit and may still be, but certainly was in 2016, I believe, complicit in a soft coup against a presidential nominee, a presidential elect, and a sitting president of the United States, which is one of the reasons that the top administration essentially were gutted of the FBI. Comey, McCabe, the other guy that used to be the attorney, Page, Stroke, whatever his name is, et al. All of those other people, and then Christopher Wray walked in the door. I'm not convinced that Christopher Wray is pure as driven snow. Hardly. But this is a continuing series indicating that we have very, very, very critically serious, demented problems with the FBI. Any thoughts?
Oh, I've got a lot of thoughts. I've got a lot of thoughts on that. First of all, the quid pro quo.
3 minutes before the top of the break.
Oh, Jesus. Thanks for dumping all that on me.
Thanks.
So you said they were conspiring to screw over the American public, which means one person gets something for something else, which results in a sexual favor, i.e. screwing over the American public. Therefore, is the EEOC been notified to conduct an independent investigation?
Okay, all right.
for that. Look, I've said it on the show here several times before. I believe that, look, the line level agents, some of them, not all of them, I wouldn't even necessarily say most of them, but there are a few of them who are, in my opinion, decent people doing the right thing.
I used to work for them. I would say the bulk of them.
It's been a while. It's been a while since you worked for them, then, right?
It has.
So
loosely.
So
it's been a while.
I wouldn't even say the bulk of them anymore, particularly given what has come out about the FBI and the a lot of the emails and text messages and so forth that were sent. I'm not convinced that even a bulk of the agents would want to do the right thing. Just because of who the FBI hires. Again, that's not 100%. There are some, I know some very good guys on that work for the FBI. But in my opinion, the majority of them, they have their slide rules and pocket protectors.
Wow.
Wow. Yes. They're going over notes.
I have a lot of things to say about the FBI, but that's not one of them.
So that's one of them for me. Who haven't made an arrest ever in their life, and
I have stories.
I've got a couple stories too, but this is just my opinion we're talking about here now.
That's
BZ.
true. Quite true.
So I agree that the FBI, I believe that the FBI was complicit, or at least those in the FBI were complicit in a coup against a sitting president. I believe that. I believe there's evidence to support that theory. I don't use the word coup about a presidential nominee or about a presidential candidate or a president-elect, because I don't think you can have a coup unless the person's actually in office. But I know what you're saying.
I'm going back, though, to the dossier, because all along, it wasn't as if there were a series of people that were targeted. There was only one individual who was targeted, and because of the single individual, Trump, that's where I get that. But please continue.
Yeah, I know we're up against a break right now, but I think the FBI, I think the FBI has become far too powerful of an organization. I believe that they operate outside of their original intended mission. I believe that I'm not even convinced that they are a constitutional entity.
We have discussed that.
Yeah, yep. We have. I think I haven't seen this level of alleged corruption in the FBI since Hoover, and I'm concerned. I'm very concerned with because if this agency can have that, what the hell are the other agencies doing? And it's kind of an if-then equation, right? If this one agency that's supposed to be pure as the driven snow has potentially corruption or a soft coup going on all the way to the top, again, I said allegedly, then which other agencies, which maybe you would expect people that aren't held to as high a standard, quote-unquote, are they up to?
Chew on this just for a second. We're going to go to a break. I would also throw this into the mix. What is it that we don't know about the DOJ? And it would seem that almost every time that the FBI is involved in some kind of a sinister or nefarious cover-up, I believe that the DOJ is right in there with them. Folks, we'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever,
because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights. Sackheads Against Tyranny.
Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
Yeah. SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for a good for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, Sackheads against tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And you are listening to the SHR Media Network. It's 7 minutes after midnight on the East Coast. It's 7 minutes after 9 p.m. on the left coast. In Bolivia, it's 1779 and 255.723 subcluster 4, paragraph 5 hours Bolivian time. And this is the
paragraph 6.
6 might have been. And you're listening to the Shat Show. This is the Sackheads Against Tyranny, wherein tonight I'll be your Sackheads BZ. And across the way, this gentleman, this dapper young ecclesiastic right here, will be all night. He will be your Sackheads Clint.
I will be.
So if you're watching, Sackheads BZ in the red is on the left, and on the right is Sackheads Clint.
I have a question for you.
You do.
So we celebrate President's Day.
Okay.
Correct? Is coming up.
Isn't that Monday?
It is.
This coming Monday?
It is. And so it used to be Washington's birthday, Lincoln's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're just old white men. And so we have President's Day. Kind of all rolled up in one, at least here in California.
The individuals are not worth, separate days by themselves. Come on. They're old dead white guys.
I have a question for you. Have you ever heard of the rank General of the Armies of the United States?
Yes, I think that was held by one individual and one individual only.
That would be incorrect, but which individual do you think it is?
I would have guessed George Washington.
Okay, so when George Washington wore 3 stars on his epaulet.
Okay, so there was more than one.
More than 1 star?
No.
Yes, he had 3 of them.
No, you said what was the
hang on.
The rating that you said?
General of the Armies of the United States.
Okay, and I believe that there was at least one George Washington, but clearly
there was only one George Washington. Well, there was George Washington Booker, George Washington Carver, but I think I know what you mean.
Okay, but what you're saying is that no, BZ.
So you're saying George?
You're wrong. It's not just George Washington. It's also.
Are you saying George Washington was the first?
Well, now that you ask that question, well, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
Okay, so let me. This is an interesting history, and it's important to know for President's Day. So George Washington wore 3 stars as his rank.
All right.
And when he left the Continental Army, he retired as a 3-star general. In the Army recognizes the 3-star rank as a which general? A lieutenant general.
Right.
Because brigadier, major, lieutenant,
2-star. A 2-star is a major.
Major general, right. So 1 star is a brigadier. So George Washington was listed in the annals as a lieutenant general, a 3-star general. After World War I, there was one general who earned the title General of the Armies of the United States, and that was General Pershing. And I believe, I'd have to have this fact checked, I believe it was Woodrow Wilson, that piece of shit. Look, Pershing was great.
I love
right?
it. I love it when you refer to Woodrow Wilson. I really do.
So, look, Pershing, great. I got a missile named after him. How awesome is that, right?
And a tank.
And a tank. Pershing was the original general of the armies of the United States of America. Fast forward, he was the only one. Fast forward to the year of our bicentennial. Congress said, and I'm paraphrasing here, you know what, it's bullshit that George Washington is listed in our documents as ending up as a lieutenant general. George Washington is probably the greatest general our country has ever had.
Okay.
And George Washington should not be below anybody. And so we are posthumously going to promote General George Washington to General of the Armies of the United States.
Okay. All right.
In the year of our bicentennial, 1976.
76.
Now, here's the problem. That would mean that he would be listed as number 2 in seniority in terms of generals of the armies of the United States, the overall rank of general in the United States.
And you just mentioned Pershing.
He would be listed under Pershing because Pershing was promoted in 1820, somewhere in there, and George Washington was 1976. Well, you can't have that. So we are going to make George Washington's promotion to General of the Armies of the United States retroactive to July 4th, 1776. So George Washington will forever be listed at the top of the list of all of the general officers in the history of the United States. So technically, you were correct. He was the first General of the Armies of the United States, but only because they retroacted it. So technically, you were also wrong.
That falls.
So I clearly can't take the glass in front of me.
Okay, so that falls into the category of. But wait, there's more. Now, here's.
So how's that for a piece of
that's great. Now I have this. I'm going to throw this out. Sure. Most people in the United States in chat looks like Kaiser's. This is an interesting observation by Kaiser in chat. DOJ was made to keep the FBI in check, but now they feed each other. I wouldn't disagree with that at all. Okay, I know you're a big dude in terms of history. You are
No, I'm not.
Well, you're a history buff. You enjoy history. Now, people know that there historically have been 5-star general officers, and I can name the 5-star general officers historically, but technically, though, are there more than 5? So
are there more than 5 stars?
Are there more than 5 general officers that have
so
have been
a 4-star is a general officer
that have been given 5 stars? So we can name the first 5 right off the bat that we know for a fact. It's going to be George Marshall, right?
Leahy first.
Okay, it's
Leahy was first.
Okay, we're going to get.
I believe
we're going to get to him.
Okay,
George. What did I say? Yeah, George Marshall, who created the Marshall Plan. People always remember Douglas MacArthur. People always remember Dwight D. Eisenhower because of D-Day. There's 3. People remember the general of the Army and the Air Force, Henry Hap Arnold. So there's 4. And I think you mentioned Leahy. Okay.
So so now you're talking about.
But now,
are you talking about? So if you're talking about 5-star general officers, you also have to include fleet admirals.
Yes.
So
that's what you remember. And so actually,
that gives you 9.
Here are the people that have received historically 5 stars in the United States. Admiral Leahy, okay,
Yep.
Navy. General of the Army, Marshall. Admiral Ernest King. General of the Army, Douglas MacArthur. Fleet
Nimitz.
Admiral Chester Nimitz.
Yep.
Then the general that
Ike.
everybody remembers, Ike Eisenhower. And then General of the Army Air Force
Hap
and
Arnold.
the U.S. Army Air Corps, which eventually became the Air Force in 1947, who was Hap Arnold. And then we have the guy that Paul McCartney wrote a song about, Fleet Admiral William Halsey. Did I miss anybody?
You did.
Who did I miss?
You missed one, and I'm surprised you missed this one.
Okay, who did I miss?
General Omar Bradley.
Yes, thank you. I knew. See,
That's the 9th.
That's the other thing. I knew that you would get that because I have faith in you because I know that you are a dedicated historical guy. So I left that out just as a little bit of a test, and my God, you passed with such flying colors. But I guarantee you, I don't know, maybe 2% of the public would be able to name 5 of the people in any list like that. And the other question is now, do we have any, are there any current 5-star generals?
I don't believe there are.
I don't believe there are either.
No, there are not. I don't believe there are.
Nope.
I believe the general of the Army is 4 stars. Commandant of the Marine Corps, I believe, is 4 stars.
4.
Admiral of the Navy, I believe. Yeah, I believe they're all 4 stars.
And I think they all get them. They go there when there's a major war. Well, Pershing, World War I, all the people that came out of World War II.
Pershing. Now, Pershing was George Washington was not on this list.
No, yeah.
But George Washington never wore 5 stars. George Washington wore 3 stars, and General of the Armies of the United States has no rank insignia. There is no official 6-star rank.
Yeah, and you've never seen any kind of a cluster or insignia, anything like that.
So it would be
6 stars.
Nope. So it would be the thought is it would probably be the 5 stars in a circle or in a cluster with one in the middle.
One in the middle. Okay.
But there is no official 6-star rank or 6-star insignia that has ever been recognized or formally put into service.
We have so many stories right here. Where do you want to go? I mean, I could go with the lesbian activist who was kicked to the curb.
That was a good one.
You want to chat about that?
What
real
else?
quick?
What else do you got? What else do you got?
Then we've got. I spoke briefly about this, where pedophiles are actively working these days to get into the LGBT community because they want to be mainstreamed.
Let's talk about that one because just like the LGBTQ, I don't even know what the rest of the letters are. Just like that community, who is society to tell them who they can love?
Well,
love knows no gender, but love also knows no age.
I also, oh my God, speaking of age,
right?
Before we go here, I just found this today. We'll get back to the pedophile thing.
Oh,
but this
you're killing
occurred.
me.
This occurred in England. This is from the Telegraph, and I guess you would expect this. The headline goes like this: Patricia Hewitt has now called for the age of consent in the UK to be lowered to the age of 10. Former Labour cabinet minister apologizes for links to the pedophile group in the 1970s and admits that she got it wrong. She was forced to apologize after it was revealed that she'd called for the age of sexual consent to be lowered to 10. The document published in the former Labour cabinet minister's name also called for incest to be legalized. A National Council for Civil Liberties press release quoted in The Sun, issued in Miss Hewitt's sole name in March 1976, read, NCCL proposes the age of consent should be lowered to 14 with special provisions for situations where the partners are close in age or where the consent of a child over 10 can be proven. The report also argues that the crime of incest should be abolished. Now, with that in mind, let's go back to pedophiles want to be mainstreamed into, and they know that once, I talked about this on Tuesday night, they know that once they get hooked into and can hang their hat on the star, so to speak, of the LGBT community, that they will likely be mainstreamed, because there were three means of transitions with the LGBT community, gays, etc. And the first one was tolerance. Then it went to acceptance. Then it went to advocacy. And now these days, if you are not an active advocate for all of the LGBT and the rest of the alphabet that goes after that, you are an evil person. That's where pedophiles wish to be. They don't want to be tolerated. They don't want to be accepted. They want to be advocated. So now they think that they've found a way to do that through an acronym called MAP. They're not pedophiles anymore. They are minor attracted persons. A euphemism for a pedophile. And then there are no MAPs, which are non-offender minor attracted people, meaning they have the urge, but they're not acting on it. So they say, so they intimate. And this is I worked in child abuse. This is an evil that we cannot tolerate. Do you think that children have remotely, you're a parent, I am not, I will admit it, but I worked with all these things. Do you, Clint, believe that a child of 14 or 10 has the mental capacity to proffer a logical and cogent consent to an adult for any kind of sexual activity?
Absolutely not.
Knowing full well what that could entail.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Which is why the evil like this will continue, and we must make people aware of it.
I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room. So we knew when the legalization of same-sex marriage argument was taking place, and there was discussion. I had the discussion about hey, so if the argument is who are you to dictate who we can and can't love, as a winning argument,
right.
I said, where do you draw that line? Because if the argument is who are you to tell me who I can and cannot love, and that's what is not right with the anti same-sex marriage crowd, then you have to extend that argument out. You have to extrapolate that by logical extension.
Right.
So if your argument to same-sex marriage is, well, you can't tell me who I can and cannot love, then, and we can get married, and that is the basis of the argument, which that was a huge basis of the argument, particularly in the discussions I remember having, extrapolate that out, and the same argument can be made logically so for pedophiles.
Or objectivism.
Or whatever it is, right?
Objectophilia.
Now, if the argument was, hey, I want to engage with the same sex, who are you to tell me that I can't engage in a same-sex relationship with another consenting adult? That's a different argument.
Holy.
And
completely.
I had these discussions when Prop 8 was being talked about here in California, and that even the voters in California voted that down and had to get rammed through the courts, but that's a different topic. But I remember having this discussion, and I remember very explicitly having these conversations, saying, "Look, here is my opinion on this," and I'm going to piss off everybody, right? Both sides. If two consenting adults wish to engage in a particular relationship, that is their choice. Even from a religious standpoint, I may not necessarily agree with it or think it's biblical. However, as a consenting adult, you have free will. You make that choice.
And the consequences go with that choice.
And the consequences go with that choice. And we're all sinners, and that's the choice you make. I may disagree with it, but I'm kind of a libertarian, little L. And with another consenting adult, go ahead. I don't have to agree with it or be a part of it or anything like that, but that's your life, your choice with another consenting adult. Do I believe the term marriage should be used? No, I don't, because I believe marriage is a biblical concept. I believe marriage is between a man and a woman, and if you want to call it a partnership...
And it's a definition.
And
it
it's a definition.
It is a legal definition,
yes, it is.
And it is...
if you want to have a partnership, if you want to have whatever else you want to title it, then go for it. Live together, have the same benefits, do whatever. So you're effectively the same thing.
Right.
I don't like a co-op of the term marriage.
Right.
And
if you want I have said that, yes. If you want the benefits, you can have all the benefits that you want. Corporations, entities want to deign to give those benefits to you, go ahead.
Yeah.
Don't hijack the damn word. The word
Correct.
means something.
Yes, it does. And that was always kind of my argument. And that pissed off everybody on both sides. But whatever. The thing with the pedophiles now, they are starting to use that same argument. Who are you to tell me who we can love? I'm an individual. And that's the danger of the argument. And that argument has already been accepted once by society. And if this group continues to push that, just like when you, right, how is it when you want to start getting somebody to agree with your point of view, you start saying yes, asking yes questions, things you get their head nodding, get them in the affirmative, right? Well, the public has already been in the affirmative for who are you to tell me who I can love? Yes, that's right. Who am I to tell you who you can love?
The standard, who are you to?
Yep, and now they're trying to kind of co-opt that.
I don't
know if I answered your question, but I had a lot of thoughts on that.
I think you did. I would refer everybody again to the same site that I referred people on Tuesday. I wrote for an anti-pedophile blog called Absolute Zero United, either .com or .org, one of the two, Absolute Zero United. And I was writing there when I was in detectives. And it most definitely was an anti-pedophile blog. And we would name names and people who would come out, and we revealed basically their psychologies, their tactics, their styles, their grooming, etc. And I was sued in federal court. My name as a cop was splayed all across the internet, and I had to answer to that. That's how evil these people are. Those arguments have been made in terms of mainstreaming back in the 80s and the early 90s. What they're seeing now, as far as they're concerned, is this is now a golden opportunity to hook onto the LGBT community,
yes,
specifically because it's no longer a matter of acceptance or tolerance. It's now a matter of anytime that community is addressed, you must be an advocate of that, or you yourself are evil. You're an ist or an obe.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can somehow get to the advocacy aspect of it, they know for a fact they're in.
And they may get there. Look, this is something that I saw. I don't want to speak for you because I don't think we knew each other back when Prop 8 was going on. I saw this coming way back when. Sean and I had discussions. I don't know if we were online or not yet, but Sean and I were having discussions over a cup of coffee about this very thing. And you watch, in so many years, The pedophiles are going to try and attach themselves with this movement, and it is now now reality. And any logical person could take a look and see this train coming. I think it's first of all, the fact that it's getting any kind of traction at all is disgusting to me. But look, we live in a society that where in certain circles infanticide is acceptable.
Things that we didn't think that we would see.
You would think we would never see
5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Are now
they're on the plate
acceptable.
And they're active. They're right in front of us. Folks, we're going to have to take a break. It's going to be the final 25 when we come back. It's the Shat Show, Sackheads Against Tyranny. I will be tonight for you, your Sackheads BZ. Your Sackheads Clint is over across the way. And we'll take a break and be right back. Don't you go anywhere, pretty please.
I'm not going anywhere.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show. Also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon Radio Show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Hey guys, it's Sackhead Clint. I'm excited to tell you about a brand new show here on the SHR Media Network. I'm teaming up with the one and only all-powerful, the bloviating Zeppelin, sitting here to my left, bringing to you a fresh new show here on the network. It's Against Tyranny. And we'll be picking up where the Sackheads left off. Excited to be with you, sir.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
We're going to chat. We're going to chat Wednesday nights.
SHAT.
Sackheads Against Tyranny.
Wednesday night, 11 p.m. Oh, it's the same time, right? 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
Same SAC time, same SAC channel.
SHRmedia.com.
See what I did there?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Hey, BZ. So the plan's working. You got rid of Sacco. Sean is now stepping away.
I never even saw him.
And I know, and insidious. You know, we talked about this for for the last 3 years, and finally coming to fruition.
You know I'm still in the room, right?
It's almost like he's here still. Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
It's amazing. It's kind of
at you.
It's kind of eerie.
Kind of a poltergeist.
Like a poltergeisty thing.
Yeah, Sackheads against tyranny.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Well, let me move the microphone back over here. I'm Sackheads BZ. Over there is Sackheads Clint. You're listening to the Sackheads Against Tyranny. It's late at night. It's 35 minutes after midnight on the East Coast, and it's 35 minutes after 9 p.m. here on the left coast. It is, February 13th, the year of our Lord, 2019. Guys, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. It's BZ's anniversary. I've got things lined up. I bought my flowers. I've got a trip to a haunted motel coming up. I'm set. How about you guys? I hope you are. Clint, I would simply assume that you're set up as well. As you,
yeah, we talked about that at the beginning of the show.
As you can be. Excellent,
yeah,
excellent.
I'm ready. I got my $1.27 bottle of wine.
And you're ready
Bottle,
to go.
not a box.
That's right.
Yep.
Because you want, again, as you said, you wanted to be classy about it. Not just the box thing. You're going to do more than that. We were talking at the break, what are we going to do next? Well, here's a story. The Alaskan says it's 5 minutes after 8 p.m. here in Alaska. 8 p.m. Okay, 1 hour.
Oh, we've got another couple hours.
Yeah, 1 hour behind.
Yeah.
So here's a story. It says Trump is extremely unhappy with the shutdown deal, keeping options open to build the wall. The president gave no indication of whether he intends to sign the agreement.
I think that's supposed to be 35 minutes after 8. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I knew what he meant. Oh, and Kaiser says, hey, happy anniversary, BZ. Thank you very much, sir. So Trump is not really happy about the deal. It says President Trump said yesterday, he's extremely unhappy with the bipartisan deal lawmakers reached to avert a government shutdown this week that provides money for a southern border fence. Note that they say fence, not wall, fence. But he vowed to build a border wall anyway. Any thoughts on what's transpired to date, Sackheads Clint?
Yeah, I think President Trump he does not want to shut the government down. I know he said that he's not happy with this deal at all, but the deal is already kind of coming apart at the seams because there are the harder line conservatives in Congress who are saying, yeah, nope, we're not going to vote for this. There may not even be a bill going. This was an agreement that was made between the parties who were chosen to negotiate. There may not be a deal in this at all. It may not even pass both houses. If it does, if it passes the House and it passes the Senate, I believe Trump will sign it, and then I believe Trump will take that and find other funding sources for the wall, whether he's going to declare an emergency or whether it's going to be another piece of legislation. I believe Trump will get this thing built.
Funny you should mention that.
See what I did there?
I see what you did there. Now, there's a dude in Texas by the name, he's a senator in Texas, and his name is Ted Cruz. And so people are asking, well, okay, El Chapo was convicted this week. I think he's essentially going to do the rest of his life in the big pen in the Supermax in Florence, Colorado, where all the big dudes are there. Friendly Ted Kaczynski is there, and a host of other terrorists. Gesundheit.
Thank you.
People are saying that okay, El Chapo.
That's Spanish for the Chapo.
That
by the
is
way.
Exactly, and thanks to you for that, for pointing that out.
You're welcome.
They seized $14 billion with a B of his cash. So people are asking, wait a minute, what if we use the 14 billion
with a B,
not million, big difference. What if we use this money and apply that to building the wall? Stop. Let's go back a little bit. If that occurs, another if-then equation.
That would be funny on so many different levels.
If that occurs, then would that not be true that Mexico built the wall?
Yes. To stop the same shit that the Chapo was doing.
I loved the hell out of that. So, okay, Breitbart wrote an article that said the U.S. already seized $14 billion from the former drug lord. And that's what gave Ted Cruz the idea to draft the bill. And it's called I love this part. It's called the El Chapo Act, but El Chapo is just an acronym. And what are you going to put together to make El Chapo? Well, he was pretty clever. It's called the Ensuring Lawful Collection of Hidden Assets to Prevent Order, or to provide order. El Chapo. So I gotta love that. That's great. So that's basically, what is that? That's criminal forfeiture. And have we seen that before? Sure, we have.
Absolutely. All the time.
When drug lords, for example, people on RICOs, etc.
All the time.
Their ill-gotten gains, their mansions, their cars, their yachts, their boats, their airplanes have been seized.
It is very common.
And it is a
just
common
cash.
thing.
Just cash.
Sure, if they happen to, whatever they happen to have lounging around, cash, objects d'art. Notice the French accent for objects d'art. And when you do that, you have to put your fingers together like that. When you say that, it's objects d'art. That's why you're watching on YouTube and Facebook Live right now, for BZ to say
I can't unsee that.
Objects d'art.
Keep going. Stay focused.
Yeah.
Stay focused.
So, and Ted Cruz also said, no, a guy who was a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Sensenbrenner, said that is a way of realizing what the president said in 2016 is that we will make Mexico fund the wall for us.
So here's the crappy thing. It's brilliant.
I think that's a great idea.
It's asset forfeiture in terms of a bill.
Yeah.
It'll pass the Senate. It will never make it past the House. And the president will never sign it as a result. However, why can't they just go after the asset forfeiture process through the courts, take it out of Congress's hands, and there you go. Take that $19 billion.
You were going down the road that I wanted to go down, and that's this. Though Cruz has proposed this, in my opinion, because it's been done before, just not on this staggering a level, because this is a huge level.
Yep.
But things like this, similar to this, have in fact been done before, indicating that there's precedent for this to occur.
Yes.
But if it were $14 billion, you could, let's see, what did they say? He wants
5.3 or something like that. Yeah.
And so folks were saying it's going to take at least, 15 to build the wall? The complete wall. A complete wall, not just a fence, but a wall. Well, there's 14 of it right there, leaving, 1,000 feet left yet to build. The contractors are there. I'm sure they've approved whatever kind of wall that they want. And the reason, for example, that everybody, leftists, Democrats, and the American media maggots are so completely opposed to a wall, which is why I'm so fervently for a wall, is that it is a physical artifice. Once it is up, you cannot take it down.
You can,
but it won't happen because it's already present.
Yep.
Which is why the leftists and Democrats all fear a wall and are pushing against it so hard.
They wanted a wall before.
They did.
They're just pushing against it because
it's Trump.
Yes.
That's it.
That is the only reason. And the fact that the American people don't see right through that is just beyond me. Absolutely beyond me.
Well, we were talking at dinner. How is it, and you mentioned Prop 8, how is it that Californians have managed to vote for so many crappy, stupid things, including the high-speed rail? Well, wait a minute. The new governor, Gavin Newsom, just yesterday decided that he was going to do something a little bit different with regard to high-speed rail in California. Last year, I drove to Fresno to see Alan Thomas and have lunch. Fresno is about 3.5, 4 hours away south of Sacramento. In the process of driving there on Highway 99, at the time I looked to my right and there was an elevated section of the high-speed rail built north of Fresno, and at the time it was about 1,000 feet long. That was the only section of high-speed rail that was built 4 years after approval. There's 1,000 feet of it built. Well, now things have changed a little bit. Gavin Newsom didn't completely kill it, but basically what happened is he announced yesterday that the state of California is no longer going to pursue plans to build an estimated $77 billion high-speed rail line between Los Angeles and San Francisco, because he said, and this is a quote, "The project would cost too much and respectfully take too long." And the Associated Press quoted that.
Mm-hmm. The reason that...
So
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You tell them what section of rail are they going to build? This is ridiculous.
So they are going to build a section from... First of all, they want to do it just because they don't want to give the $3.2 billion back to the Trump administration. But they're going to build a section from Merced, which is the top of the armpit of California.
Merced is
down,
like nowhere.
Down to Bakersfield, which is the bottom of the
southern armpit.
So the entire stretch makes up the armpit of the state of California. It used to feed a good segment of the country and even a portion of exporting food to the world. But since since the water policies are horrible, it's a giant government-created dust bowl. Now,
and
that's another story.
Fish are much more
yes.
important.
So there's literally nothing there. So people would have to go from Merced to Bakersfield. There is nothing there but farmland, and there's not a whole lot of farmland. Agriculture is the primary industry there, and because of the government-created dust bowl, there's not even that much. Migrant workers, and that's about it. And so keep. And if you think I'm kidding, look this up online. So, in theory, here's what people would have to do. First of all, the people in Merced are not going to pay $50 for a train ticket to go from Merced to Bakersfield when they can drive for probably about $15 worth of gas, $20 worth of gas. Second of all, what are people going to do? Drive to Merced, park, get on the train, go to Bakersfield, get off the train, get on their phone, and Uber to Los Angeles?
Yeah.
What are they?
Yeah. Or I don't know, pick up a bus or call a friend.
Yeah. I don't know. So that means who's going to end up paying for that? Well, we in California, the taxpayers, are going to have to subsidize this because nobody in Merced or Bakersfield or anywhere in between is going to have the money to pay for a train ticket on this rail system that cost how much money and is how far over budget?
$77 billion. Now, do you remember the proposition? I don't know if you remember, but it was sold to us that it would cost no more than $8 billion. And so the people in California signed off on that proposition. We're one of the few states that if you get X number of signatures on an issue, you can put it on the ballot. People vote for it in November. It was on the ballot. People voted for high-speed rail. And the very next year, which was 2 months away, the very next year the price doubles. It's going to be $16 billion. And ad nauseum, where it is now $77 billion. And even Gavin Newsom had essentially the common sense to realize, I think something might be a little fucked up. But like you point out, he's not going to admit defeat. He's going to use what he can to build, a high-speed rail, and I think there is no guarantee that it's going to be high speed. My guess would be that it's going to be a standard.
It can't be high speed because
like an Amtrak train has a max speed of 79 miles an hour here in California, so you're probably going to get another Amtrak train running 79 miles an hour on those tracks. Essentially, basically, Merced to Bakersfield, which is like from Frog Dick, North Dakota, to East Armpit, North Dakota, as in nobody really gives a fuck about getting on a train to those places.
Yeah, and so they have to use existing rail that's already in place, which is not designed or capable.
You have to upgrade the rail.
You have to upgrade, which is not even included in this price tag. So new high-speed rail that they lay down, there would be high-speed segments, not a high-speed rail from one to the other. So the whole thing is an utter joke.
It's so fraught with problems and issues.
And I want to know how this is not being. This is an investigation that should happen.
California is a state that deserves so many investigations.
We don't much pay attention to the Constitution here.
No, it's
that's what they said. That's what one of the members said. Remember that? This is California. We don't much pay attention to the Constitution here.
I really?
Oh yeah. Check it out. I don't remember which person it was. Hang on, I don't remember the guy's name.
As you're researching this, let me tell you this: leftists, Democrats, and the American media maggots think what I'm going to tell you is a wonderful thing. It means true freedom, and you guys need to know that. I think it's really important because this is something to which leftists aspire and have aspired for quite some time, and now it's legal. It's now legal to defecate and urinate on Denver sidewalks. So Denver, Colorado has been the first to decriminalize public defecation and urination in order to make, this is a quote, in order to make life easier for immigrants and the homeless. It's also happened in Los Angeles, and you can imagine the predictable and disastrous results because we've tamped down all of these other diseases. And, there's nothing like a little TB or diphtheria or Hep C or D between friends. All these diseases that we have since years ago managed to eradicate. So what if they come back? So what if tuberculosis emerges again? It's really no big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every time I'm going to think of Denver, I'm going to think of San Francisco and think of Los Angeles, and these are all leftist enclaves where people seem to not give, a shit less about whether or not diseases enter the equation at all. Bodily fluids on the sidewalk, no problem. There are certainly lots of places around the country where people are required to dispose of dog poop, and it's a crime or an infraction to not comply with clean up after your dog laws. And so now it's a good thing to let people in Denver and Los Angeles and San Francisco spread disease and filth wherever they want. That's an accomplishment.
Can you get audio up real quick?
Because
I don't think I can play audio from my computer.
No, what do you got?
So it's just check out if you can get it. It's the name Sawyer is the name. So it's Sawyer. It was the quote, and he says, "This is California. We don't pay too much attention to the Constitution." Is the quote.
Oh wait, okay, hang on 1 second. Okay, chat about something while I address that here.
We've played it. We've played it before, but if you can, we'll just tell our folks at home. You can go ahead and use your favorite search engine and check out Sawyer. This is California. We don't pay too much attention to the Constitution, and that would give you enough. It'll come up. It'll come up right away. And
okay,
that is what we're dealing with here in California.
Okay, here we go. Let me cue it up a little bit. I have found it, and away we go.
I'm going to recommend an aye vote to kind of clarify whether or not there are any court cases that would
I know you're a lawyer, but that would make this unconstitutional. Would that be a problem? And I also know the legislature sometimes ignores whether or not it's constitutional or not. We go ahead and make laws because we're California and we do it anyway.
And you're right. There you go. We're California, and we can do anything we want, and laws, regulations, etc., well, they can all go to hell. Mm-hmm. And witness in California, apparently, we're all going to hell.
On a positive note, there was a new survey conducted by Fox News that actually shows capitalism greatly favored over socialism.
Yes.
Did you see that?
I saw that. Now that's not true with millennials,
and
but
that's
in a general overall
yes,
poll,
and
yes.
that is up from 2018 numbers. And I think that's a direct result of President Trump bringing attention to the issue. What say you?
I would agree. If I can find the story, there's another story. Here we go. This is from BusinessInsider.com, and I think this is very telling, and actually it's a little bit frightening. And certain segments of our population are going to look at this and say something similar to, okay, apparently it's happening all over again. This is the headline. Venezuelans, a socialist country that's tanking, Venezuelans are marked with numbers to stand in line at government supermarkets. It says it's hard to get a sense of what a food shortage is like unless you've lived through one, but this tidbit from Venezuela serves as a chilling illustration. The lines to get into government supermarkets, not private supermarkets anymore. These are government-run supermarkets. Essentially, they've taken over them. Are so long that people mark their arms with their place in line. It's not a permanent tattoo, like you may have been thinking. It's a pen, but the point is to make sure that the long lines stay as orderly as possible. Mm-hmm. And people have said something on social media like this. The road to serfdom game in Venezuela just got real. Human tattooing for food privileges. And here's how it works. A source came and said that the number scribbling takes place outside large cities like Caracas, and it doesn't happen in private supermarkets. Imagine that, only in government supermarkets. But private supermarkets can set a limit to the number of items a person can buy, like you can only pick up like 4 liters of milk or 2 liters of oil, 2 kilos of sugar, etc.
2 eggs.
2 eggs, and that's if the market has them. So as a result of that, I have only 2 words: yay, socialism.
I have something. I know we have a couple minutes left. Did you see McCarthy's video that he posted in response to Representative Moore? She's a Democrat, the House Ways and Means Committee.
No,
they were having a hearing, and Representative Moore is reading a list of the economic successes from the Trump administration.
Okay, this is in California here?
No, this is the U.S.
Okay, all right.
U.S., right? Representative Moore. She's out of Wisconsin. And this is a quote. GDP, gross domestic product, GDP is great. Unemployment is at an all-time low. African Americans are doing well. Hispanics are doing well. Wages are rising at the fastest pace in 10 years. Blah, blah, blah. She says, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, as if
so.
That's crap.
So she's reading a report on the economic stuff. She's on the House Ways and Means Committee. She's a Democrat who claims to be the People's Party, the party of the working class person, all this stuff. And Kevin McCarthy, in my opinion, ran it right back up the Dems' rear end because he posted on Twitter. I think he posted the video kind of attached to it and called her out and emphasized the blah, blah, blah. But that is, look.
That's a perfect illustration of what
the
Democrats think.
Yes, it is. Because they talk about the importance of economic prosperity and minority working groups and women and all these other things. And to have a minority representative read that and then say blah, 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 and be completely dismissive. That would be my campaign video if I were Donald Trump in every low-income neighborhood and within Wisconsin, in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, and every blue-collar, middle-class, middle America. I would blast that all over the place from now until the election. That would be my mantra.
Let me ask you that: are you looking at that from a web page right now, a website?
Yeah, you want me to play it?
No. Could you send me the link?
How do I do that?
On the phone.
I don't know how to do that.
Just send me the link on the phone.
Oh, you want to play it and talk about this tomorrow, don't you? Or on
no, I'm not doing a show tomorrow.
Oh.
I'm going to be out at an ancient motel.
That's right.
Getting involved with ghosties. So there. Cool. By the way, I should tell you folks, obviously there is not going to be a BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show tomorrow night because me and Mrs. BZ are going to go out on our anniversary.
Are we doing bonus content? Are you going to play this right now?
No, what I was going to do is I thought, and I've been thinking this for quite some time, I'd like to put together about a 60-second or a 90-second commercial full of all sorts of audio clips to assemble that would make a great conservative ad against Democrats coming up in 2020. And that would be a great audio clip to put in there. The dismissive blah, 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 because that is so typical of what we're seeing and hearing in leftists today. Well, that's it for our show. For Sackheads Clint and Sackheads BZ, it's the conclusion. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being in chat. Thanks for listening in podcast from the SHR Media Studios in Sacramento, Fornicalia. And for all the people that were in the chat room tonight, it's not a chat room, it's a chat room. Thanks ever so kindly. We're going to be back next week. Listen to all the great SHR Media stellar stars here on the network. Have a great weekend. Have a great Valentine's Day tomorrow. God bless. Take care. We'll see you guys next Wednesday night. Be safe.